y'all. Welcome back to the Metacast. I'm your host, Metabit, and I'm here with our special guest, Mr. Kilo Can't Lose.
What
Woo!
up? What up? What up?
So, I wanted to get him on the show because I feel like we always have like interesting topics when it comes to the things that I post on social media. Like, we're always, sharing our perspectives. And I'm like, this person is like really, has a lot of brain food to offer, a lot of knowledge. And I love conversations like that. I love people like that. So I was just like, you know what? Let's get on Metacast and discuss a few things. Majority of our topics revolve around like, masculinity in today's community and, getting it from a male perspective because a lot of people be like, meta, like you always saying like fuck men or whatever, like different perspectives, but that's just coming from a woman's perspective. So today I want to kind of give y'all it from a man's point of view so we can discuss those different perspectives and, you know, talk about some topics. So we can start with, how did you come across SL? Like, did you find it during COVID or before then? Like, what made you be like, oh, I'm gonna download SL? Like, did you come from the IMVU community or you kind of just stumbled on
Sheesh, I wish it was as recent as COVID.
it?
I joined IMVU when I was 11 years old. So I'm 29 now. So that was 18 years ago. I joined IMVU and I was always a creative kid. Like I used to make IMVU clothes and paint.
Oh, that's fun.
And over time, like just as time went by, you get GIMP and then you got Photoshop. And then I guess I built a little bit of a name for myself on IMVU back in the day. And then in 2009, a whole bunch of people from IMVU shifted over to Second Life. And I like to call it the first great migration. You feel me? Because when people, when people talk about IMVU people coming over to Second Life, I feel like a lot of people been on Second Life so long they forgot that they also was a group of people that came over from IMVU. So it's just like it's funny seeing like the new generation of people from IMVU come because we did the same thing. I came from IMVU just like they did.
No, for real. Like, majority of people I've met on SL, they came from IMVU days. Like, it's really like kind of the same community. Like, most of the people who, have the stores and have a background in, the metaverse community from like years ago. Like, I'm only getting on here like 2, 3 years now for real. While I'm actually like in it because I started around COVID, so I'm still kind of like I'm not really new. I won't say I'm new, but I haven't
Yeah,
been on here
newer.
as long as the IMVU because I never played, and that's really what's crazy to me is I never like played IMVU, and I'm like, damn, I like missed, you know, that whole
You
time.
ain't missed nothing. You definitely ain't missed nothing.
Just knowing all the people and seeing that because
Now, IMVU is cool though. I feel like IMVU creates a great basis, especially for young people to know how to like certain skills, like creating on Second Life. I would not be the creator I am on Second Life if it weren't for the skills that I learned in IMVU doing 2D Photoshop and shit. Like the process is completely different. So if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be the creator I am on SL now.
no cap, and that's how I feel like. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm in a journey of kind of finding a way to make a store, and it's like I have to kind of start from the beginning. Is what I mean by I missed that whole community era because I could have been, did it, but it'll happen eventually. I just want to make
That's
sure
a,
it's like the best and like actually learning a craft instead of just putting shit out. Like that's never
that's a
been my,
fact.
thing. And I want it to be genuine. I don't want to just be doing it for money. Like I want it to actually be a hobby and like something that really interests me.
That's a fact. The energy you put in is the energy you're gonna get out every time, especially with this store thing. If
Always.
you put in the work and you put in the time, you'll get what you're looking for back out of it. If you're not asked,
No, for real. And then you have to think about the ideas and the concepts and actually representing yourself like as a brand, like dealing with your names and the whole aesthetic of your brand and actually bringing things that are new and fresh. Because people been doing this for so long, like there's so much like saturation in the store like community. Like everybody want a store now. We get it. But it's like the creativity, the name, the presence, like all that matters too. Like your craft matters.
1,000%. The market matters. You got to present yourself in a way to where the market sees you and the market feels you, regardless of what. If the market don't feel you, if niggas see you and you're corny to the market, it don't matter how good you are. They're not gonna shop you. They're not gonna bang with you because you're corny. Nobody wants to
Exactly.
wear corny stuff.
Exactly. Like people don't realize that. And with that being said, like when you were starting your SL store, how did you come into that community? Like actually starting to make meshes and like your name, where did you get your name from? Both of your names. I know
But
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't want to chop it up.
it's kilo. Kilo
Kilo.
can't lose.
Kilo can't lose, but
And
the air
oh,
hair.
air hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Air hair and then bunny
My
work on it.
first store on SL. Well, I started making clothes. Like I said, I came to SL in 2009. I started making clothes in 2009 because it's
Mm-hmm.
like when we all came to IMVU, mesh wasn't even a thing yet. Like it wasn't mesh clothes. It was like baked on mesh, like how baked on mesh
Mm-hmm.
is, like you throw it on and it's just like drawn onto your avatar. That was everything. And then you used to have to add prims on it for like jean cuffs and stuff like that. It was nasty. If you see old pictures of Second Life, it was hideous. It was horrible. But I started doing that and my store name was Cap Status. And then I stopped that and I met my son probably about 2012, I met my son Tevin, and we started Airhead together. We used to watch Space Jam and shit because we was both in the old school vintage
Oh
clothing. So
yeah.
we would watch like Space Jam on Uvu and shit. I don't know if niggas remember Uvu, but we would watch Space Jam on Uvu and just talk about different style. And we was just like, yo, bro, we should come up with a store and call it Airhead because of the Airhead Sevens Jordan campaign. And it ended up being Airhead. He ended up leaving Second Life and not doing it no more. And I just continued the Airhead legacy. But every time I speak on Airhead, his name has to come up because if
Yeah.
it wasn't for both of us, Airhead wouldn't have started.
Exactly. And I think that's real fire. Like to have something that, you hold on to and you make with a person. And even though they're not like on it no more, you still give them their props and their recognition. Like I've noticed a lot of people they don't really have the like they just don't have the decency to do that. And it's just like, you wouldn't have
And
had that
I
without
got to.
people. You feel me? Like the foundation matters.
Yeah, foundation always matters. At the end of the day, you don't have a building without foundation. And I wouldn't have made Air Hair if it wasn't for me and bro coming together. I would have kept doing Cap Status, and who
Mm-hmm.
knows where that would have went. You feel what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Air Hair, we created a movement together, and then that shit transcended time a little bit. Like now, here I am, 12 years later, and you still talking to me about Air Hair. Like it's
Exactly.
not a lot of brands that could say that. 12 years and niggas is still wanting to talk to me about this thing called Airhead. That's, I mean, it's humbling.
That's impact. That's real impact because for your store to last that long, like for you to be consistent and still putting out shit that's literally like one of the best stores on the grid, like point blank period, because you've been in this so long, you already know the ropes and the ways to go and the details behind running a stable store. Like that shit is iconic, like point blank period.
I
So
appreciate that.
no
I try
problem.
not to, I feel the same way. I try not to say it that much because I try not to be that guy. You feel what I'm saying? But sometimes I do. And I mean, I toot my own horn. I've really been doing this for a long time, and I feel like I do it really well. So, but it is nice to hear from another person. Thank you.
No, it really is. And one thing I'm gonna do is give people their flowers. Like people real weird when it comes to that on that stuff, but I don't care. Like people deserve to hear what they do and what it means and their accomplishments. Like point blank period. Because it takes a lot of just motivation of self to be consistent like with something like this. Like it just does.
Super.
It's not easy.
I tell people all the time, this creating shit is hard. It is extremely difficult to have a high functioning store. It is extremely difficult. People get into it and think it's just a thing that I can hop in and do. It's not, bro. It's gonna take over a lot of your time. It's gonna take over a lot of your energy, just in
Mm-hmm.
general.
It really will. And then you also have to like think about real life and things that you have to do in the real world. And it's like two things you have to juggle with. So it takes a lot. A
Yup.
lot. But with that, is there anything that you feel like you could have did better along your journey or any setbacks you had with making your store?
1000%. Growing up, like you could tell the way I speak now, I've always been a free speaker. But growing up, I was an extremely free speaker. And I said and did a lot of things to people that if I looking back on it, I'm not proud of. You feel what I'm saying? And it's colored the way some people see me in present day, like they'll
Mm-hmm.
never get over that. And I mean, that's their prerogative. That's on their chest. You feel what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I do regret coming into this space at such a young age and not really knowing to just shut the fuck up sometimes. You feel what I'm saying? You don't got to give your opinion on this person's situation. You don't got to be the center of the circle all the time. Like, you don't have to, because being that throughout the years has now fostered a little bit of animosity and a little bit of like who this nigga think he is with some people. Not everybody, but
That
some
part.
people. And I just feel like, yeah, I mean, it misrepresents me. I'm not that guy anymore. So I just regret being in those moments. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would definitely tell that nigga chill a lot more.
But that's the thing about self accountability and growth. Like a lot of people don't realize, even though that happened in the past, you're always supposed to look at a different perspective and be like, okay, this person is no longer like that. This person has taken accountability for those things. When a person can see where they went wrong, that's how you know that they're actually moving forward from being wrong. Because a person who is in denial about them being wrong and don't really give a fuck, they're going to be like, oh, I didn't do nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, it just shows right there that it's self accountability. And, you know, we all wish there was a fucking time machine. I know it's a few things I would time machine back and just erase or wish I would have never did, wish I would have never said. But, it puts
You live
us,
and you learn.
exactly, it teaches us lessons and makes us who we are today. Because sometimes if that didn't happen, then we'll still be stuck in the same old way,
Exactly.
still doing the
Exactly. I
same shit.
always say if you don't go through the pain, you continue pain. You know what I'm saying? Like pain is inevitable. So if you don't go through hardships and you don't go through bad times, you're just prolonging the inevitable. You feel what I'm saying? Like you
Exactly.
have to, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain, like 50 Cent said.
No cap. It's life. That's the thing about it. That we all just gotta move. Um,
That's a fact.
with that being said, like with you having this thing where you're like, I wish I never, spoke on some things and did certain things. Is there anybody who you regret giving your energy to who cannot like give you respect or anything like that? Like,
No, because when I give my energy to people, I've come to learn that I'm a loving person, and when I give energy to people, it's because that's who I am, not because that's what they deserve. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
give love out the gate, and if a person proves to me that they're not the type of person I should have gave love to at this point in my life, I just remove it. I used to get upset, but now I'm
Exactly.
just gonna remove my love, and you're gonna have to know what it feels like to not have my love. And my love is strong. So niggas feel not having my love all the time. Niggas feel it financially, niggas feel it mentally, physically, emotionally, all type of ways niggas feel not having me. So, hey,
Because it's genuine. Like, there's a difference
it's
between,
real.
real and genuine people offering you their energy and offering you their, like, just to be around them and just to feel and go through life with them. Like, certain people in your circle, like, they don't realize that. And it's just like, you did all this, but it's just like, now look at you. It's just like, why?
Hey,
What was the point of, me being genuine and you using that to advantage? And then I'm like, well, I'm good. And it's setting boundaries. And some people get mad at that. Like, when you set boundaries and you remove yourself for those situations where you feel like they're not pouring the same amount of energy back into you, or it's just not a good energy for you to be around. Like, standards are a thing, and that's okay for people to have their own standards. Like, it's okay.
my my grandma always told me God write checks, not people. God
Period.
see everything. You feel what I'm saying? So God see how I move, regardless of how people receive it or what people think about how I move. God sees my every single move and He knows my every thought. So He continues to write my checks. Every
Exactly.
single day He continues to write my checks. So I can't worry about what energy I did give and which energy I didn't give. And you know what I mean? I don't regret none of that because it's all a part of the process. It taught me so much.
Exactly. So I would say now, like, do you have any advice for people that's, joining or looking to start a store or just be around SL people in general?
Well, first I would say if you looking to start a store, you really gotta love what you doing. Like whether you making decorations, whether you making clothes,
Mm-hmm.
animations, whatever it is that you make, you gotta really enjoy doing it because this SL store shit sucks. You feel what I'm saying? It's hours out of your day where you could be out living life that you gotta package up virtual clothes for niggas that they may not buy. You feel what I'm saying? And you gotta keep going. Consistency also. Even when it's not working, you gotta continue to do it. Cause at the end of the day, if you don't continue, how could it ever grow? If you do it, it don't work and it stop. You're not even giving it the chance to become whatever you want it to become. So just keep going. And after a while, it's still not working, and you gotta look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, bro, I can't keep banging my head against the wall. And you gotta be able to pivot. But if you're gonna do it and do it wholeheartedly.
Exactly. And that's in correlation with real life too, because it's like whatever you put your energy to consistently is going to grow. Like, with anything you do, if it's a real life job or a hobby or SL, like, you still have to put that energy in and you still have to work for it every day you wake up. And I always tell people, like, it's easy to be like you want to do something, but it's different when you show that you want to do something. When every day you wake up and you're like, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to do something every day that is going to contribute to that happening in my life. So
That's
it's
a
like,
fact.
it's not nothing that you could just be like, oh, I'm going to push it back. Even like with simple things like going to the gym. People like, oh, I want a fit body. Oh, I want this. I want that. But you're not putting the action. Like, you have to at some
Ooh,
point break the habit because you already not consistent. So then you have to like force yourself in a way to do these things just so you can get in the habit and the routine of doing it, which is like every day, every other day. And you have to hold yourself
that's a
accountable.
fact. Like
Like, you would,
people always talk about manifestation and oh, I'm
mm-hmm,
manifesting greatness for myself. Like
what are
for
you
example,
doing?
me, I grew up fat. You feel what I'm saying? I'm 6'4". I was like 350 in high school. You feel what
Mm-hmm,
I'm saying? I used to pray to be skinny. I used to pray to be skinny. And this is during the skinny jeans era. Like we wearing tight clothes. So I'm a fat nigga. They don't even sell the skinny jeans in my size. You feel me? Like I'm sick. I used to pray for it. But I didn't actually get skinny until I got my fat ass in the gym. You feel what I'm saying?
And
We could
work
talk
for it.
about manifestation all day. But at the end of the day, if you're not putting the necessary actions towards growth, it will never happen. It don't matter how much you
Never.
manifest, how much you pray to God. He don't
Never.
hear you. He only see you. God see prayers. He don't hear prayers.
Exactly. Through your actions every day. And it's like a mind over matter thing because you have to be so resilient and like really hyper focused.
Hmm.
And it's so easy to lose track because like most people nowadays they'll be like, oh, I want this so bad. They'll do it for a little bit and then they'll be like, ugh. You literally have to force yourself. You have to be on your own ass. Like, nah, get up, do what you gotta do, point blank, period. Like, I don't want to
Literally.
hear shit.
I
Like,
never heard a successful person say success is easy. Like I listen to
exactly.
successful people talk. When niggas who don't have more than me speak, not that I ignore them, but it's kind of like, oh, all right, we having a conversation and that's cool. When niggas who got more than me speak, I shut up and I listen. And all of them niggas talk about how hard it is to get to where they at.
Hard as
Never heard a
fuck.
successful nigga say, like, yeah, I just woke up one day, snapped my fingers, and there was millions here. It don't.
I
It don't happen.
manifested it. I did the 369
Yeah, I'm
method and it just
like
appeared. Like,
niggas.
no.
Niggas say they prayed for it. Yeah, they prayed for it, but that's because you don't get to see all they work. You just hear them saying they prayed for it. You don't see the work that they put in to get it. They just pray for it, and they telling you they prayed for it. But you
Mm,
got to do way more than pray.
it's a lot of action. And it's also
Hmm.
that I feel like a big part of it as well is being around people who have the same mindset as you. Like, a lot of people don't realize that the thing that's most important is surrounding yourself with likewise individuals who have that same mindset, who know that this go getter thing and like keeping focus and, expanding your knowledge and actually moving forward in life. Because there's a lot of people nowadays where they're just stagnant with growth in general because their mind is not moving forward. And when a person who's like a thinker, a free thinker, and, has this powerful presence and powerful energy, when we get around certain people who don't have that, it drains us in a way. Like it deters us from where we gotta go. And it deters everybody from where they gotta go. You never hang around people who you don't want to be like.
Fact. I hate being in rooms where everybody in the room learning from me. Like don't
Exactly.
get it don't get it twisted. Like I enjoy helping people. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have no problem helping people. But if you constantly in rooms where everybody around you is looking towards you for the answers, bro, you in the wrong rooms. You're supposed to
Exactly.
be in rooms around people who can offer you the exact same amount of things you could offer them or more because
Mm-hmm.
you trying to elevate. You feel what I'm saying? And they probably looking at you like, damn, I gotta get around some niggas that got more than him because he can't teach me shit. But that
Exactly.
ain't your problem. Your problem is getting around the niggas that could teach you something. So as long as you
Exactly.
could do that, then do that. And if you're not doing that, then you really wasting time. Like if you pride yourself in being the big dog all the time, I don't know, bro. You just not in the right position.
And it's just like you really have to, and it's even with the people who willing to grow. Like it's a lot of people who don't realize that they're kind of comfortable in who they are and like don't want to excel, and that ties into you. Like I think everybody should be around people who are at least willing to grow. Like even if they're in a predicament and still learning, as long as they're open to being in those rooms where they're learning from people and not just completely closed the fuck off. Like what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like you're not even
A
willing
lot
to
of people
grow.
are good. I've learned a lot of people are just good where they at.
They
A
content.
lot of, and that's what makes superstars superstars. A superstar is a person that wasn't good with just being regular. I know so many
Mm-hmm.
people who get up, go to work, and that's all they want is to get up and go to work. That's it.
No cap. They content with that, and it's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's 100% nothing wrong with
Yeah,
people.
that's cool.
It works for
I
them.
work a job every day. Work your job, bro. But I
Exactly.
also want more, and I know I want more, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
working towards getting more. A lot of people aren't, and I can't be around people who ain't working towards more, bro. I
Exactly.
can't. My body don't respond to them people. I'm gonna start asking questions, and they ain't gonna like my questions. So we just gonna beef.
Exactly. Butt heads instantly, just off of like what you believe in, and it's
Like,
just
yo,
like
bro, you really only want to smoke and go to work? That's it?
that's it.
Like,
In certain
damn,
rooms,
gang.
it's okay. Like, certain rooms, people just don't fit in, and most people get mad about that. But it's just like, find your people, find your community. I feel like another
Mm-hmm.
thing that's really important is with our partners, like who we decide to be with, who we decide to go through life with. It's literally crucial that they have the
Crucial.
same exact mindset, because that can throw you off in like one of the most intense ways with somebody that you share your body, your mind. Like, being in a relationship with a person is completely different from being a friend. So it's just like when
That's
you're
a fact.
surrounded by this, when you're in that person's energy every day, when you're giving a part of yourself to this person, it's like crucial. I can't stress this enough, for that person to literally be on the same journey as you. Or it's just gonna be chaotic as fuck.
Literally. That's why me and my shorty work, because we counterbalance each other so well. I'm a worker, you feel what I'm saying? I don't really deal in the realm of feeling and shit like that a lot. Like I do, but I don't at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She's a worker, but she works with so much passion and so much feeling. And so like when I'm too logical and all I'm thinking about is the intellectual part of a situation, she'd be like, "Nah, babe, you got to think about how this shit feel and what this shit gonna feel like and what it's gonna do to you."
Mm-hmm.
And then vice versa, when she feeling too much, I come back like, "Look, it's a bottom line you trying to hit. This is what we doing to hit the bottom line. Like we work, we bounce off of each other, and we're not perfect. But when you talk about picking a
Mm-hmm.
partner in life, you're not picking, I don't know. Now I don't want to keep talking about God and shit, but you're not picking the perfect entity. You're picking a
Exactly.
human being on this planet that matches you well enough
Well enough.
to, and you and that person can work together to build something way bigger than just you. When you have a family and you have a child and you look at that child, that's something so big, so much bigger than you that you created with another
Mm-hmm.
person, and that's partnership. A child is partnership. A home is partnership. People be having these relationships where, oh, I have a man and you and your man don't do shit but argue and fuck. That's not a
That's
relationship.
not.
That's just a nigga that you be with that beats your back out. Like real partnership, real relationships, real love is about so much more. You feel what I'm saying? And we look, and not even just romantic, but friendship. To go back to like how you asked me earlier about do you regret giving out energy to people?
Mm-hmm.
No, because you have to in order to find your partners in life.
Exactly.
You can't truly find partners in life if you don't give your energy out to people. If you just closed off, walking around looking all evil, nothing's gonna come to you, good or bad. Maybe more bad because you
You
looking
closed
bad.
off.
You feel me?
You closed off and just like, fuck it. I don't want to be around people. No. That's why I've always like said I will never ever use what somebody has done to me in the past to justify me treating somebody else who comes into my life with trauma. Because that's where it all stems from, is trauma is the reason why you're acting like this. It's crucial for me to not allow certain situations that have hurt me. Like, I will never use that against another person that comes in my life, or I will never make that a reason why I fuck with a person less. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing in today's society that we kind of, you know, it's hard for us to do, but it's really important when you're trying to build relationships, because you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to treat everybody like this because I got fucked over and I got treated like this. So now I'm going to do this and now I'm going to do that. No, like you can't do that. Like, you're just going to put yourself into a worse hole, and you're just going to allow that energy to keep coming to you. When you're truly like good, when you're truly healed and you're truly over your trauma, you don't go about that every day like that. Like, it just won't hurt you like that. And if it does,
That's
then
a
you need to do
fact.
some shadow work. Like, you need to literally get up and
Literally,
do shadow work and figure out why.
literally. So many people don't know that they haven't healed yet. We spend so much time trying to convince everybody how good we are. We
Mm-hmm.
spend so much time convincing everybody I'm the baddest bitch, I'm the flyest nigga, I got all this bread, I ain't never took a L, I'm up all day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we spend so much time doing that. And it's like niggas are not actually really attacking their demons. Like, nigga, you don't love yourself for real.
At
That's
all.
why you doing what you doing. That's why you move how you move. That's why every time somebody posts a picture and they got more likes than you, your stomach start to hurt. You may not admit it, but your stomach be hurting because you really not happy yet, bro. And you gotta do the work to be happy. For so long, I wasn't happy. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize I wasn't happy until I really started genuinely fucking with everybody and they shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, this nigga over there doing good. That's amazing. Like,
Exactly.
and it was a genuine feeling. And I never, all my niggas growing up used to be like, yo, you hate everything. You go against everything. You anti everything.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back, I was, because I wasn't happy. So I was literally going against everything. I wouldn't say on purpose, but I always had a rebuttal. I couldn't just accept shit. I always
Mm-hmm.
had to throw my shit in there. You feel what I'm saying? Now I'd be like, oh, word, that's how you feel? Cool. I feel like this. Woody, woody, woo. We might have a 10-minute conversation. All right, I'm on to the next thing. I probably won't even reply. Because what are we doing?
Exactly.
You
And
feel
it's
me?
just like
Like, what are we
another
doing?
thing with people like that who have to be like, are they happy? It's just like, do you have to convince other people that you're happy? Do you have to? Because who are you really like proving that to? Like, who are you proving that you have all this to? Are you proving
They
it to
really
other
convincing
people, or are you
themselves.
lying to yourself? Like, do you have to
It's really
subconsciously lie to
themselves.
yourself to make yourself feel better? If you do, then that's when you realize that you do not love yourself. You don't accept yourself fully for what you have. So you have to constantly boast and constantly have to make up for what you're lacking. But it's just a subconscious thing where you're just lying to yourself. And it's
That's a
not getting you
fact. And
nowhere.
we all brag, you feel what I'm saying?
We
We all
do.
have our moments where it's like, yeah, I'm that. But you gotta, how
When
do I
that's your
even say what I'm trying to
personality,
say?
when that's
You
your
gotta,
personality, is the issue.
yeah, like you gotta know when to turn that off and just be a real human being. You feel what I'm saying? Like you gotta know when to turn that off and be like, I did take a L this week. And I gotta assess my L. I gotta
Mm-hmm.
assess why I took my L. And I gotta come back stronger. You feel what I'm saying?
And
But
change it.
people trying to convince themselves using the gratification of the world. Like if I get enough likes on this picture, maybe I am a bad bitch. No, you still
No.
built like SpongeBob. You just got a bunch of likes. Like in reality, do the work to not be built like SpongeBob. Like, are we gonna hold your hand all day? Like, or are we gonna tell you the truth? I was like, and I let me bring myself back into it because I can't talk about other people's problems all day. I was an angry nigga. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had to get the fuck over it. All that pain, all that I grew up in the hood, all that
Mm-hmm.
black man bullshit, which we here to talk about masculinity
Exactly.
and toxic masculinity, all that black man bullshit, I had to let that go, bro, because it's like all you doing is harboring hatred towards things that you shouldn't even care about. You mad about shit that don't even matter to you. It don't make you no bread. It don't make you no less bread. It don't hurt nobody around you. You just care because you need something to get your anger off at. And that ain't healthy.
It's not. And that's what a lot of, I feel like, it's both genders, both masculine and feminine, but a lot of people go through that. It's the things that
Mm-hmm.
happen in the past. It's the things that they went through as kids mostly. A lot of us have childhood trauma, and that's why we're like how we are today. It's because we grew up in
That's
certain households where certain things trigger us or certain things, you know, fuck with our emotions and fuck with how we look at certain things. So now we're traumatized and now we have to act in that trauma until we truly heal. And I don't think it's a I'm not gonna put it all on men because y'all know how meta is. I'll be like, oh well, men don't heal. Men don't face their trauma,
we
but
don't.
majority of men don't.
We don't. You're not wrong. Anybody that's mad at you for saying men don't heal needs to heal. Because it's
Like
the
they
truth.
don't.
Men don't heal. And it's because we are always told that if you heal, you're a bitch.
And that's
Literally,
not
like
true.
healing and femininity. I can't really speak for the white community. I don't really know. But healing and masculinity are literally enemies within the black community, for men
Exactly.
at least.
Men
Because
always like to put on that show.
when you talk about taking the steps to heal, you talk about finally breaking down those walls that we call masculinity. But that's not masculinity. That's just random hood nigga tough guy shit that we've built up because I don't even know where it comes from. We could blame white people and the system they put us in and all that. But I know niggas that hate niggas just cause the nigga walked down the street today. Ain't no white man make
Exactly.
that nigga think like that.
They looked
He
at you the
just,
wrong way.
yeah, like I don't know any white man in the neighborhoods that I grew up talking about, hey, if he looks at you wrong, you gotta hate him. I've never heard that. You feel
Or
what
you
I'm
gotta
saying? It's
off them.
niggas.
Like
Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
niggas doing shit to niggas. And yeah, I mean, we could really get into it when it comes to race and what white people did do to black people in order to put us in different situations. But when I talk about healing, what are we doing right now? Okay, Reaganomics, okay, hood, okay, crack, all that shit. Cool. What are we doing right now in order to change the future and change masculinity and change how we approach as men femininity? Because now that women are finally starting to be like, wait a minute, I don't have to be up under this nigga. Now men are
Hmm.
shook. We're shook, myself included. I hate Sexy Red. I love what she doing, but I hate Sexy Red. I hate it. You feel what I'm saying? It's just garbage. It's horrible. It's trash. But my shorty, we was on the phone and she was like, why don't you like Sexy Red? And I was like, well, her music sucks. And all she talk about is my pussy and what do you do? You feel what I'm saying? And she was like, all right, I can name literally 800 male rappers that do the same exact
No
thing.
cap.
And like, I tried to go back at her, but I had to pause for a second. I was like, damn, Future, Drake, Uzi, like all these niggas
Hmm.
is talking about, I just took a bitch to the bathroom and nutted on her butt
Exactly.
and all this wild stuff that we say to women, but it's like we're so fragile that we can't even take an ounce back of what they get, of what we give y'all. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And all that comes back to men not knowing that healing is okay. And I believe that that's not our fault. I honestly believe that that comes from how we're raised. And
Hmm.
because there's no men in our homes, we're forced to be men at like 5 years old. And it
Yeah.
just creates a different dynamic. Ain't no room for healing and feeling because you got to protect your sister. She might be 5 years older than you, but you got to make sure your sister good because your pop's not here and who your
Exactly.
mom's gonna beat up.
And I think that's a big, like a super big part is I feel like now we're in the transition of women like becoming more like independent and men aren't used to that either because they grew up in households where women are like told, you know, you're the woman of the house, you cook, you clean, you take care of the kids, you do this, you do that. But then also back then a lot of women were single mothers. Like a lot of women,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the male figure wasn't present in the household. A lot of times the male left, got incarcerated, something happened, they got killed. Like it's a lot of reasons why a woman had to, you know, also have a masculine aspect about them. So now I feel
Yeah.
like that's what pivoted it to women are now like, well, we don't need men. Like, they're chaotic, they're this, they're that, they don't want to heal. When it's just like, I feel like a woman can help a man heal, but that shouldn't be her priority.
At all. I
Like,
agree.
you shouldn't go into a relationship and see this man. And a woman is also supposed to always inspire you and give you, like you said earlier, you know, girlfriend's like relationship and how y'all thrive is she gives you like the emotional aspect and like y'all balance each other out in the masculine and feminine. And that's like a stable relationship. Like, it may not be quote unquote perfect, but it's perfect for y'all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's what helps y'all thrive. And a lot of people don't realize that that's what they need in these relationships in modern day because that's neglected. Like, all women are now, most of them are like, fuck man, I don't need a man. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I do shit for myself. I do this, I do that. And then the men are like, man, I don't fuck with that bitch like that. She a hoe. She this, she that, she that. I don't need her. Like, but it's just like, at some point, y'all gotta stop belittling each other. Like, we get it.
Mm-hmm.
We go through situations where we see men act like this and act like that, but y'all gotta stop belittling each other because it's only creating this tension inside of our community.
Literally. I feel like women are becoming more like men and men
Mm-hmm.
are becoming more
More
like
like women.
women.
It's like
And
a
we
role
all hate
reversal.
each other for it. We all mad at each other for gravitating more to the other side, but we also asked for this.
Ask for
Men
it.
ask for their women to be able to help them a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more. Women ask for their men to be more sensitive and be more understanding and be more attentive and buy me flowers. But now with
Exactly.
that comes more emotions. Wait, I feel a certain way. You on Instagram twerking? I feel a little way about that. You got
Exactly.
your ass all out on the gram with your girls. I feel a way. And y'all don't like that because y'all living in y'all freedom. But it's like, damn, y'all asked for this.
No cap.
Y'all
And I feel
asked
like
for the sensitivity.
a lot went wrong when it was an overload of that. When it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, a woman should be able to embody survival. She should be able to take care of herself, which is quote unquote a part of masculine. Like, today, this whole masculine and feminine concept, like, it's just so many takes on it and so many perspectives when it's just like, realistically, everybody has both feminine and masculine aspects of themselves.
Right.
In order to be a well-rounded person, you need both aspects to balance out inside of your body and how you move through life in order to be a person who can function and be the quote unquote ideal person. Like, it's both of those sides. And I hate when people be like, I don't want to be feminine, or they try to make women make masculinity wrong and they don't want to be masculine, they want to be in the feminine. But you have to do that. Like, women, y'all have to take care of yourself. Y'all have to be able to function without a man. Yes, you have to be able to function. And I'm not saying like you don't need a man, but you have to be able to function and take care of yourself.
That's 1000%. What kills me about women in this generation is the necessity to rely on men for finances. That
Mm-mm.
is such a dangerous territory, and these girls not understanding. Like, you want this quote unquote soft life. I use soft life because that's the word, that's the
Yeah,
phrase
that's
now.
what you.
You you want this man to take care of everything for you, and what you're doing is you're literally making yourself a prisoner. You're making yourself a prisoner to this man's ability to take care of you. You gotta be your own boss. You think Nicki Minaj is not masculine, my nigga?
Exactly.
You think Nicki Minaj is walking? Girls love Nicki Minaj. You think Nicki Minaj is walking in the room and walking into the corner talking about a soft life? No way. There's no
For
way
sure.
Nicki Minaj. Come on. There's no way. Nicki Minaj will never say the phrase soft life ever, bro. And she probably has a softer life than
And that's
everybody that,
true.
you feel what I'm saying?
That is so fucking true. But she
She's
have her
not
own
talking about
shit.
no.
She have her
Come
own
on.
empire. Like,
Literally, these women are working. Rihanna is working. Beyonce is on tour right now. She's working. She got her baby on tour.
Performing.
Come on, these women is working. They not sitting at home. Okay, Jay Z, you're gonna go out on tour and buy me a new Birkin and take
Men
care of
don't like
Blue.
that either. I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. I
Hmm.
know for a fact, men do not like women who are so needy. Some men who are controlling, they need that to justify their traumas and things like that. They, use a woman as a trophy wife, but they really don't have a connection to her. They don't really care about her. A man is going to like love a woman who can like take care of herself, like who have her own shit going on, who have her own mind right, who can talk and have substance like in conversation with them instead of just being like, I'm just a bad bitch, like I'm pretty, I want this, I want that. Like, what do y'all really have in common? Like, there's no connection with that. Cause he don't like
Nothing
to sit there and get his nails done and look pretty all the time and just act like a bimbo. Like, no.
at all. He just fuck with you because you look good. And that's
Exactly.
the problem. That's a problem that a lot of young women don't understand about men. A lot of these men don't like you. They like what you look like. They saw
Exactly.
something they liked. They didn't hear something they liked or get to know something they liked. They saw something they liked. Everything else from the moment after they saw you didn't matter. Their
At all.
goal is now to get the shit that they saw.
Smash.
Simple. It's your objective to make the nigga work for it.
And it's also, I want to say, to add to this, if a man shows you that he just sees you as an object or doesn't really like value you as a person, it's not your fault. Because a lot of women, they be like, oh, well, what did I do wrong? Like, why doesn't he like me? Or why doesn't he want to get to know me? Why doesn't he this? You got to stop asking yourself those questions because it makes a woman feel insecure when she constantly has to like be like, oh, well, I mean, I have the best body, like, but he still don't want me. Like, no, it has nothing to do with that. Y'all just not compatible. And a lot of women nowadays, they take that as like insults. Well, niggas ain't shit. Like, they just use me. They use my body. You allowed them to, though.
Yeah. Half these niggas don't even like women. They trying to convince themselves.
Exactly. So
So
it's not
that's
your
a
fault.
that's a whole nother like there's so many different we are in a generation where there's so many different directions that love is going and love can go. You gotta be aware of what's going on. And within toxic masculinity, as a man, you gotta understand your role in all of it. At the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it don't matter what the fuck. We could talk about equality all day. At the end of the day, as a man in a relationship, it's gonna be shit you gotta do, bro. It's gonna be shit you gotta swallow. You ain't gonna find it ain't too many virgins left. At the age of 29, it ain't too many virgins left for me. Even if I was to leave my girl and be like, I need the purest woman ever. Good luck, nigga. You're gonna be fucking a 16-year-old. Like it don't work that way. Like we're in a different time. And we as both sides, we gotta learn how to properly deal with each other in the time that we're in. We gotta be better at connecting with each other. And men, I ain't even gonna lie. I talk a lot about men and women and the dynamic between men and women, and I talk a lot to women about how they're negative towards men. But I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely think as men, we need to take the lead on this one and start to be better as a whole, so that our women can follow behind us. And if they choose not to, then oh well. But if we
Exactly.
set the standard, then I believe all women ain't gonna have no choice but to follow.
Exactly. And it's just like, as a man, when you embody that, because everybody lives in their own universe. Like everybody has their own perception on things. So if at least your mindset is changed, that's all the change that's needed. Like, so for a man to recognize that and for a woman to recognize their faults, that's all that matters. It don't have to. Of course, it's not everybody just gonna be in secret in sync, just pop up and be like, okay, well, we're all gonna do it right. No,
Of
because
course.
people are always gonna be stuck in their ways. But it's just like
Mm-hmm.
that one person can change everything.
That's a fact.
in your life.
And you gotta you gotta know better to do better.
Hmm.
We gotta stop gatekeeping the things that work in the black community. What we tend to do is the super crab in a barrel mentality with
Huh.
everything, like with stores, with
Everything.
everything. We figure out something that works and we don't want to share it with nobody. It's like, all right, I got this now. I'ma just succeed. And all these other niggas just get stepped on. Like you gotta like we got this thing, like it's a I guess it's a meme, whatever you want to call it, where like don't talk to your homegirls about your relationship because if they single, all they gonna do is hate and tell you to leave your man.
Hmm.
Why? Why is that the mentality? Why not ask the question, all right, girl, well, y'all fighting. What y'all fight about? Do you think y'all could fix it? What do you think it
Exactly.
takes to fix it? What do you want from him? What does he want from you?
Because we've
Nah,
been
we go straight to
hating.
man, bitch. Fuck that nigga. He
Mm-mm.
tripping. Woody woody woo. Why is it like that? We got to start teaching each other. We got to start healing each other. To go back to the word healing, we got to start helping each other heal. Put band-aids on your friends.
It's more about self-expression too. Like a lot of people are scared to express how they actually feel. Like we're taught to hide our emotions and hide our thoughts, but it's just like no. It's a way that we can talk to people and communicate with people without getting like a negative view on it. Like certain
Mm-hmm.
ways you structure and certain conversations that you bring up to a person, it's a way that you can tell a person how you're feeling without having it become an argument. And then a lot of people are automatically, then when they hear that they're lacking in somewhere, they get defensive when it's just like, no, like, just listen to me. Like, I'm telling you what I need. And then when you get
That's a
mad
fact.
at me telling you what I need, then I'm mad. So now we both mad, and
Now we both mad.
it's not gonna heal anything. It's just gonna build a bigger resentment when it's just like, just hear me, just be vulnerable, just understand. Even if you don't agree, understand. Because
But it's
you don't always have to like agree with somebody to hear and understand where they're coming from.
That's a fact, but it's so hard as a man, especially when you're talking about in your relationship.
Hmm.
You've been told your whole life. Like I've been on this planet for 29 years. I've been told my entire life that I'm supposed to commandeer my household. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's extremely difficult as a man with that brainwashing. Literally, it's a
It is
brainwashing.
brainwashing.
With that brainwashing in my head, it's hard for me to succeed power to my woman and say, okay, this is what you're talking about. This is what we're going to focus on. This is what we're going to do because this is what you need. And it's hard because you get taught like your shorty's supposed to follow you. What you
Hmm.
got going on, she's supposed to be behind you doing whatever you got going on. And I'm learning within my own relationship, I have this issue. The same issue we talking about, I have this issue.
Exactly.
But succeed in the power and allowing my partner's issue to be just as important as my issue.
Exactly. And I think the foundation of a real like, people have that aspect where men are supposed to lead, but it's like an infinite sign. So it's like zooming in and out with each other. Y'all both are at the same pace, but sometimes, one is leading and one is in the back. And that's just how you have to switch and constantly switch in a stable relationship to move forward, because it's not always that one person that just has to be the team leader. Because
Mm-hmm.
y'all are a team, it has to be both. And it has to be from both perspectives. And like a lot of people don't realize that like y'all both have to literally be equal. Like y'all both have to have the same structure. Y'all both should be the head of the household. Like y'all
That's
both
a
have
fact.
to embody that and be that for each other, because you need a person to look up to and they need a person to look up to. So it's like a switch in both aspects, because your woman should inspire you and like your man should inspire you in both aspects.
That's a fact. Another grandma quote. She said, "You lead with your brain, not your private part." It's that
That
saying
part.
everybody got a brain. You
That
don't
part.
lead with your dick. A dick don't make you a leader. You gotta be a leader. You gotta be a man. If you going Like I had to think about this the other day. If you're gonna ask your woman to follow you, you gotta be worth leading. You're gonna tell her to do everything you say, and you can't buy no Birkins. You can't buy no cribs. You can't pay for no trips. You can't set up no health insurance. You can't pay for no college for her kids. You can't help her take care of her mama if her mama gets sick, but she gotta follow you everywhere you go.
Mm.
How that work,
And
gang?
sometimes it's not even about financial. Like sometimes it's
And it's
about like
not, but what
knowledge.
I'm saying is niggas want to be a leader so bad. But
You
if you
can't
want to
even
be a
listen.
leader that bad, then do something that helps somebody. Like niggas
Mm.
just want to lead because they got a dick, and it's like, yo, bro, what else you got to offer this woman that you want to lead so bad?
Like what's the substance? Like what? Like what else is it?
That's a fact. And I struggle with both sides of the fence because I be feeling niggas too. Like I'm a man myself, and I
Mm.
be feeling men like it be feeling like no matter how hard you try to be a good man, sometimes women do not appreciate it now. Like it's like there's another level that you got. Like, all right, you beat level one, now you got to go to level two. Okay, you beat
Yeah.
level two, nigga, but level five is way harder, and then you get to level 90 and it's still more levels. It's like, damn, I've been leveling up all this time. When do I get a reward, a prize for the level or something?
I totally understand that because I definitely can say that I've did some fucked up ass shit. I always admit to that because just like I wasn't in my right mindset. I was going through a situation where I didn't know myself fully. So of course, how can I don't know myself. So how the fuck am I really going to get to know you and try to, understand in all these aspects when I'm over here chaotic as hell because I don't even know myself for real. I'm figuring myself out. So it's also like that from women. It's just like, I'm in this transition of becoming a woman because a lot of people don't understand. Like women, we go through emotions like it's insane, especially when you're in the age from 18 to like 24. It's like this intense emotions and everything is just emotional. Then you have your cycles. You just have everything that's just throwing you off. And you're just like, sometimes we don't mean it. Sometimes we're just chaotic because our body is being chaotic and we're irritated with just that. And sometimes it comes off as tough love and, certain things like that. And I totally understand it. I 100% agree. Like, sometimes we can be a bitch. We really can. But it's a lot of
Mm,
women who have to understand that they are going through these things and they don't know how to, communicate that. But like, well, it's not true. Like, I'm just going through something. Like, just give me my space. Like, that's all I need. Because right now I'm chaotic and I don't want to spaz out on you because of something else that's bothering me that you can't even control.
that's a
I just
fact. Because
totally.
women have this thing where it's like he's supposed to know that I'm upset, or he's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to know that men. I don't want to use the word dumb, but men are very,
They're not emotionally connected.
yeah, they not emotionally connected. So when something is wrong, a lot of the times it's
They really
not that
don't
he
know.
don't care. He really don't know that something is wrong. Like he genuinely couldn't tell you that something is wrong with you. It's not even that he don't care about you or he none of that. He genuinely isn't emotionally connected enough to himself to
Mm-hmm.
recognize the energy in the air. He just thinking you being a dumb emotional girl. And again, I struggle with this myself sometimes with my shorty. Sometimes she be telling me something and I'll be like, man, you just being emotional. And it don't all the time just be emotion. Sometimes it do, but sometimes it don't. And we as men, we got to start connecting emotionally to ourselves so we can say, wait a minute, her energy is off. Something got
Exactly.
to be wrong.
And sometimes
Yo,
that's not
babe,
even
what's
it.
wrong?
Like men be like, "Oh, you're just being emotional. Oh, you're being childish. Oh, you're being this." Okay, sometimes I am. Like, but it's just like, why are you calling me out on it instead of trying to understand me? That's what women get mad about. Because I know that shit used to piss me off. Like, when somebody would say I'm being emotional or this, I'm like, yes, I'm being emotional, clearly. But it's just like I have a reason behind it. So do you want to understand the reason, or do you want to just keep saying that I'm emotional and not trying to figure out why? And that just put us in a different mood, and now we're more mad because it's just like, damn, I just want you to understand. Just be like, okay, even if you don't understand. Because
That's a
I know
fact.
there's
You
some
gotta
times, for me
wait,
at least,
wait.
where I'm just like, I'm I don't want to be around you right now because you don't want to be understanding enough.
That's a fact. Men, a lot of the times, and it's tough to ask women to have to do this continuously. But a lot of the times, until your man does the healing and until he connects enough
Mm-hmm.
emotionally to be able to do it himself, you gotta tell him like, "Yo, bro, I am not happy right now. This
Exactly.
has made me upset, and I need you to deal with it." Like all that responding to text with 2 words and I'm
Silent
supposed to
treatment.
think, yeah, I
I'm
ask
the
you what
queen
you
of
doing,
silent
you
treatment.
say cleaning up. From cleaning up, I'm supposed to say, oh, she's pissed off, let me call her and make it better. All she said was cleaning up. All right, you cleaning up, I'm gonna go play the game. What the fuck?
And then be
Whole
like, why
time
the
you
fuck he ain't
mad.
call me? Why he ain't call
Come
me?
on. Whole time you mad. Why he ain't calling me? Why he ain't checking on me? He ain't talk to me all day. Nigga, when I asked you what you was doing, you said you cleaning up. You can't clean up and talk, so clean up. I'll expect you to hit me back when you done cleaning up.
And then when you typing like cleaning up in 2 words, it's like you busy clearly. You don't want to type fully.
Come on, it's the
That's
logical
accountability.
part. We don't have the emotional connection to be like, damn. Every other time I talk to her, she send me a whole paragraph. Today,
Mm-hmm.
all she got is 2 words. Something is off. You feel me? And I'm starting to learn that because I've done the emotional work. I've started to do the healing, so I'm
No,
starting to
you
see. I'm
have.
starting to.
And that's as a woman, I say definitely that's a definite struggle for us because I definitely operate like that. I'm quick to give a motherfucker the silent treatment and be like, well, why you don't realize I'm silent? Like, why do you think I'm silent? You're supposed to know why. But it's just like you can't be like that. And I
Mm,
used to move like that, but now I've gotten to a point where it's just like communication is everything. Don't be sad about or feeling held back because a lot of times our throat chakra be closed. Like we don't have the courage to speak up and express ourselves because I know for me at least, I grew up in a household where I didn't have the opportunity to speak about things that hurt me, and I would just be told like, that don't matter. Like you'll be all right. You'll like get over it. But it's just like it hurts or something is affecting me, and we teach our kids and we teach people to just be like, oh, it don't matter. Move on. Move past it. But it's just like communication and expression is the key to that instead of restricting it and not letting that release come. So now you have this disadvantage when it comes to fully communicating yourself in the future now. And you can't express to your partner. And sometimes it's hard. Like, I would get upset with myself because it's just like, I can't express myself. Like, I would literally be sitting there like, say it, say it, say it in my head, and it just won't come
yeah.
out. Like it won't come out. And I'm like, yo, like I'm starting the problem because I can't communicate.
Yeah, and I learned like as a person that's been in hella arguments throughout my whole life, I always learn in any argument that you don't communicate, you already lost because
Exactly.
a person can always say, "Well, I didn't know you felt like that." I'ma always express how I feel because a motherfucker could never say back to me, "I did not know you felt that way." That's cap.
Exactly.
That's cat. One thing about me, I'ma let you know how I feel. So if you say back to me, I didn't know you felt that way, I'm gonna
Yeah.
bang it on you, and you'll be surprised if you ever hear from me again. Cause now you playing with me, and I'm a grown ass man. Don't play with me. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta
Exactly.
say how you feel because you leaving room for a person to play with you when you don't.
Mm-hmm. And you're leaving room for suggestion and all this other shit when it's just like you could have avoided it. You could have
I
really
didn't
came
know
to
it
a
was that
conclusion.
serious. I hate that shit. And I do it to other people, and I hate when people do it to me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
quick to tell a motherfucker I didn't know it was that serious, but I hate when somebody tell me I didn't know it was that serious.
Exactly.
How did you not know it was that serious? And now, you feel me? Even saying it out loud, I just realized, like, damn, nigga, that's hypocritical. You feel me? Self
Exactly.
awareness,
Self
growth
awareness.
is always, come on, oh, for what I just said. I never thought about that, but I just said it, and I'm like, damn, wait a minute, that didn't even really sound right. But
Exactly.
self awareness and growth is always important.
And
But yeah, I
communication.
hate that.
Because
I
even
got to
us
work on that.
now, like you realize it, and it's through communication. Sometimes, you know what? What I really think men need to do, women too, journal. Express yourself in a creative
My
outlet.
mom bought me a journal, and I do not use that shit.
Use it like it will
I
connect you more to your emotions than
nah,
ever. Like just writing down your feelings, writing down how today went. It don't have to be no step ass shit like, oh, today I went to the store. Like things that boggle your mind, things that you really, are going through. I wouldn't. It's not realistic to use the shit every day. I'm not gonna do that. But if I'm really going through something, if I'm really feeling the type of way, journal it down and read it back to yourself. That way you'll be able to observe and really get to analyze it from a different perspective because men are not connected that much to situations to really analyze why and what is that stemming from. It don't even have to be a journal. It could be you talking.
I used to journal all the time when I was younger, and I
Mhm.
stopped because I would always write all these goals in my shit at the beginning of the year, and I would never complete none of that shit.
I mean, but now, shit, it might be different now.
That's a fact. I'm just thinking back, like, damn, journal. I got so many empty journals in my room. I got at least like 4 empty journals because I've gotten journals over time from different people and just never used them. I
That's
think I
just
have
not
a. I
necessary.
think honestly, I have a fear of writing my shit down and realizing how much shit it is. You feel me?
That's the point. That's the
Like
point.
that's a
Like
whole
that's what
nother
we
thing. Like
feeling. Because you have to put yourself, it's a lot of prompts like shadow work prompts and things like, as a kid, what affected you? What did you see growing up that hurt you? What are some situations that hurt you really to your core? What are some things that you wish you could have changed? And that's things that you don't really want to have conversations with other people because you don't want to be vulnerable and you don't want people to know that side of you. But it's just like, first you got to let yourself know these hidden things that are really affecting you subconsciously.
I feel like a lot of it, again, from the perspective of a black man, I
Mm-hmm.
can't speak for every black man, but growing up in the hood and just through hip hop and black movies, our trauma is so glorified that it's almost like, nigga, you complaining about the shit that we all going through, and the shit is regular. Like murder is regular.
It's
Niggas beefing with
not.
other niggas is regular. Like going to funerals is regular. Not going down this street because niggas be tripping on that street is regular. Being scared is regular. So it's like to now process those emotions and that trauma as an adult and be like, this is something that's wrong with me. It's like, nigga, that shit look like a Chief Keef video. Like
It
that shit
ain't
is music
normal.
in our community.
It's
Like,
desensitizing us, though. And it's okay for that to affect you. Like, it's not
is that really?
normal.
Is it really damaging?
Is it? Everybody is to each
I
his
don't
own.
know.
Like, it's really about what you feel as a person. Because somebody could get, it could be a different perspective, but realistically, as a human being and things that affect our body subconsciously, yes. Because we're always like, well, what about the child that didn't want to go through that? What about the child that seen that with their eyes, even though now it seems like, oh, I'm used to that shit. What about your younger self who went through that and that was the first time you saw something like that?
Yeah, shit used to get crazy. I ain't even gonna hold you. Shit used to get crazy, but I just feel like it create for me. It created a shell, like a
Mm-hmm.
armor, like a perseverance that I don't feel like you could get from many other places. Like, I don't think you could just teach a motherfucker how to persevere through some shit like growing up in Hempstead, New York, or growing up in the Bronx, New York, or growing up in Brooklyn, New York. I can't really speak for nowhere else, but you feel what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a certain level of oomph that you get from growing up in that I can't sit here today and be like, I wish I didn't have that. Like the trauma is real, but I also feel like there was a reward in the trauma. I don't know. I guess that's a conversation for another day.
It is, and it's all about perspective. Like that's what about a lot of people don't understand. It's about what works for you. Everybody is different. Not everybody is going to have the same outlook on certain things, and that's okay. Because everybody
True.
live a different life. They went through different experiences. Those experiences have different value to them and different, strengths of how they affect you. It's totally up to what you feel subconsciously. Like at the end of the day, it's your world, literally. Like you're living every day through yourself. Other people play a role, but they're not the main character. In your life, you are the main character. You have to live with yourself. You have to move every day and be able to exist fully and be yourself. So it's like it's what's up to you and what your expectations out of life are.
All right, so let me ask you a question now.
Hmm.
As a woman that's going through her healing process, what would you say to men about toxic masculinity from the perspective of a woman? What would you say to men? Like if you were talking to, say, you got a younger cousin and he's
Hmm.
displaying traits of toxic masculinity, and you trying to tell him why that's not good. Like, what's your perspective on it?
I would basically toxic masculinity is kind of like I wouldn't even know how to break it down to another man because when I get in my little rants and I be like, oh, toxic masculinity this, toxic masculinity that, like, I try to, when I'm really having a conversation with somebody, I never come off like, oh, you're wrong, you're this, you're that. I try to understand them and their situations to the best of my ability. So if they're just being like, what type of toxic, like, to
Like
relationships or,
he every time you see him, he got a new little girl around him. You see him disrespecting her. Like he's just a piece of shit little nigga.
oh no, see if disrespect is happening, like, I'm very upfront about that because I don't allow people in my vicinity to be disrespected. Like point blank, period. I don't care who it is. If it's morally wrong, then I'm gonna tell you something about it. Like I don't let things like that fly. I wouldn't just be like, yo, like don't talk to her like that. I will pull him aside most likely and be like, like chill. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to express yourself like that. Clearly, it's something that's rooted in trauma why he's acting like that. So it would be more of a what's going on with you. Like you also have to look in how he was raised. It could be something that comes smoothly to him, like things that he saw his own father do and how his father treated women. So you also have to look
Yeah,
at, when I look at people and how they act, I also think about what could have happened to them to make them act that way. Like I like to analyze people to a point of understanding their trauma. And a lot of people don't realize that other people have trauma. Other people are real people and they go through real things. And just because they're acting like that at a certain moment, you could do something that could contribute to them, having a healing journey. And just being like,
yeah.
like, what's going on? Or just being that person that they could talk to and communicate to. Like, a lot of people don't need to be beat down, is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, if somebody is, expressing certain ways that are toxic, sometimes they don't need that backhand and that, oh, stop doing that because they've always gotten it. And that's
Yeah.
why they're acting out. It's because they've always gotten that strict, like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? That's why they acting out. It's because they got that their whole life. And they don't have nobody to feel vulnerable to. And nobody to just
That's
like
a fact.
care and like hear them out. And like actually be like, how are you? Like, how are you feeling?
That's a fact. The reason why I asked is because I always had a theory that in our community, the women have this thing called my king syndrome, and we don't hold our black men to the same standard that we hold black men to. It's like you might have a piece of shit brother, and you're not gonna say nothing to your brother, but then you're
Mm-mm.
gonna look at every other man and be like, "Oh, he's a piece of shit. Niggas ain't shit." But not my brother though. But your brother doing the same thing as everybody else. Like we got to start holding our circle
Everybody to the
accountable
same
for
standard.
the things that make the community negative. We can't just continue to let our people be nasty because they're our people. You gotta hold your people to the same account
Hmm.
that you expect everybody else to be on.
And I'm definitely not like that. I don't play that because when you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care who you are. Like, you could be my father, you could be my mother. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, and I'm not going to be disrespectful in the way I'm presenting that to you, but I'm going to let you know how something is affecting someone or how you could have approached that situation better. And I think everybody just needs to, if you're around people, sometimes you just have to be that light to be like, like that wasn't cool. And it don't matter how they receive it, they receive the message. Some people get defensive, but that's okay. That's just their reaction programming. That's just how they are programmed to react sometimes. And sometimes it takes years for them to like look back and be like, damn, she was right. Like, she actually has some shit. And it's like a lot of it, you can't force somebody to change who's not ready to change. That's what I realized. And it's just like you could tell somebody some shit, like preach it, scold it in their head, but if they're not open to understanding and literally listening and trying to change, they're not going to change. You could walk up the street with somebody holding their hand, but they could let your hand go at any moment and walk back the other way. It's a self thing. Like, you can't walk and try to mold everybody to be how you want the world to be. Like, they just have to figure that out on their own. And you could like put little pieces in there, influence a little bit, but trying to change everybody, some people just can't be changed at that moment. Like, it's just not for them. And it would be fucked up for you to try to control somebody's life. Like, because I wouldn't want nobody to be like, oh, trying to make me be a certain way that I'm not comfortable with yet. Or I didn't realize that that was an issue for me yet. Like, yes, I'm gonna understand you. Yeah, I'm gonna hear you. But if I'm not ready to change, I'm not gonna change.
That's a fact. People used to try to get me to change all the time. I wasn't ready.
You wasn't
I
ready.
wasn't. I wasn't in my bag enough. I had to go through some more shit in order to know that none of that shit is really that serious. Like really I had to lose my little brother to realize like, oh, all this other shit that's going on is not that serious, bro. Like it's way bigger things going on. And I had to start getting to the bigger thing. And ever since I
Exactly.
made that decision, my life has changed tenfold. And I suggest it for anybody else.
No cap. I think all men should
Mm-hmm.
just everybody's journey is different, and finding what works for you is key in any journey. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really
Self
just
awareness.
self awareness. It starts with you. So it's like we could talk all day about how we want everything to change, but it starts with every single person, one by one, their self realization of where they fucked up. So if you're watching this podcast, analyze yourself. Like, really sit and think about the things that you want to change and who you want to become as a person. If you want to contribute good to the world, how can you do that? If you want to keep moving in how you're moving, how could you do that? But how could you be a little bit better? Because realistically, everybody wants to be better. Nobody want to be stuck in the same spot. It's just that's just a common goal of all humans. We want to be better. We want to be in better predicaments. We want to move forward. We want to have this life. And how can you obtain that life? Like, what can you start? What can you do that can impact yourself first? Because self care is the most important thing. And understanding your own emotions and taking accountability for your own actions is the purest self care that you can give yourself. Loving yourself, knowing yourself, understanding yourself, because nobody else can't understand you if you don't understand yourself.
Literally. and not these surface level conversations either. Like,
Deep.
oh, I need to work a little harder. Like, you
Hmm.
really gotta strip yourself naked. Like, yo,
Hmm.
I'm really a piece
Vulnerability.
of shit to my best friend. I say that I'm lit, but I really be capping.
Hmm.
I'd be late to work every single day, knowing the only reason I'm late is because I'd rather smoke before I get to work than actually get to work. Like, you got to really assess the negative things about yourself and
And
really
change it.
tackle those things. It ain't going to get better if you continue to do it the surface level way. You gotta dig deep.
You gotta, and you have to understand every aspect. Cause it's just like what you just said. If you're telling yourself, "I'm him, I'm this, I'm that," and you're really not, but you're subconsciously telling yourself that, you're never going to change because you're subconsciously telling yourself that you're okay with being who you are right now when you're really not. So you're going to constantly be stuck in
Hmm.
this like limbo of, I want to be this, but I keep boasting that I'm already there. No, you're not there. And that's okay. The journey is okay. Like, you don't have to flex. You don't have to be somebody you're not, because that's when it becomes unrelatable. That's when it becomes inorganic. That's when people start looking at you a different way. But people love authenticity, and people love raw and real organic people who can admit and understand and embody who they are at the moment and just live through life.
That's
Just
a
accept
fact.
who you are and just live through
Accept
life.
who you are. That was the best way you could have said that. Accept who you are.
Just accept it.
That's a
Because we've
that's an
all been there.
amazing thing.
We've all had those lows. We've all had those moments where we didn't feel worth it. We've all had those moments where we went through some things that just hurt us or we're not okay with or we want to change. It's life. Like, you can't devalue life and try to be like, oh well, that don't bother me. Like, no, it do.
You do. And you fronting hard. Like I said earlier about the niggas that be mad at another nigga because he posted and got 30 more likes. That shit really be making y'all niggas stomach hurt. I know the feeling.
Hurt.
I was there. That shit be making niggas stomach hurt. Like, damn, how did he got that? Damn, how did so many people counting me out and now I know they watch me and they like, damn, how is this nigga still doing it? It makes you gotta love yourself, bro. You gotta get that stomach feeling. You gotta remove that stomach feeling from your life.
Hmm.
Start being happy for people. Start being happy for yourself. Celebrate your own wins. It's okay.
Amen.
Like, it's okay. It's okay to really assess and address who you really are. Because you'll never win until you assess who you truly are.
That's some motherfucking brain food right there. Because a lot of us, we neglect that. And it's validation that we need. Maybe we never felt validated, or maybe we never had the people to, a lot of it stems from, people never really getting their flowers. And that's why I always be like, when I see somebody do good, I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm a boast about their accomplishments
Facts.
because that's a lot for people. Like, some people just feel unseen and they have to overcompensate just to feel seen from their self because they're not getting no
Yeah.
validation. They're feeling like
And
they're
it's
lost and
sad.
people aren't really, grateful for them or sees what they see in themselves. It's a real thing because we always want people to, give flowers. Even though we don't say it, it's needed. And I think that's another thing that we need in this community is to acknowledge people, to give props, to give credit, to build each other up instead of always tearing each other down. Like, just be nice, be genuine, be open, be like, celebrate other people's wins. When you see something happening, you got to get in the habit to be like, congratulations. Like, watch other people's journeys. Like, understand other people's journeys. Give props. Nothing wrong with that. And it's just like people have a hard time, telling people of their accomplishments because it stems from a thing that where they feel like they're invalidated.
Mm-hmm. If he great, then what am I? You great
You
too.
great too. But tell him he great. When you get in the habit of telling people that they're great, they're positive, they're this, they're that, you're doing amazing, that's going to be reflected on you as well.
Like, yo, like everybody has this thing with it, like GOAT. Like the word GOAT, the acronym GOAT has caused so much hatred because one person say they the GOAT, and now everybody else feel like they got to be mad at that person for saying they the greatest of all time, because
Exactly.
now they feel like if you're the greatest of all time, then I can't be no better than the second greatest of all time. And who do you think you are to feel like you above me?
Mm-mm.
But me calling myself the GOAT don't got nothing to do with you.
At
There's
all.
no actual way to quantify the greatest of all time. There's no statistic that says this is what makes you the greatest to ever do anything of all time. That shit is always, has always, and will always be based on opinion. Whether you're talking about sports, whether you're talking about music, whether you're talking about Second Life stores, everybody got an
Exactly.
opinion on what the greatest of all time is. So you being mad at the next person because they said they the GOAT and all this animosity is unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary and it's fucking up the community. It's fucking up everybody bag and it just ain't what we supposed to be doing.
It's not. And it's just like another thing is let people boast about themselves sometimes. Like people can feel like they're that because they're living their own life. Like they're the person who have to wake up every day and move this way and they can call themselves whatever they want. That title is just not for one person. Like I feel like everybody should think they're the best person on the planet.
Fact, I tell everybody that if you don't think you the hottest shit smoking, then you need to go back to
You
the
need to
drawing board.
reevaluate yourself.
I'm the hottest shit smoking at whatever I do. And if you disagree, that's on you. In Kilo's universe, that nigga is the hottest shit
Exactly.
smoking.
People
And
call
that's
it
the
being
only
cocky.
opinion I care about.
Cocky don't exist. That stems from somebody else's insecurity.
Yeah,
I'm a boast about
arrogant
myself.
and cocky and be humble. All that shit is
Mm-mm.
hater talk. Why
Nope.
the fuck would I tell you to be humble? As hard as you work to get to where you at, I'ma then tell you to humble yourself?
Hell no.
What? How does that even sound? You're arrogant. Niggas had to look up the definition of the word arrogant. When you call somebody arrogant, you're literally a hater by default. Because the
Exactly.
word, literally, when you use the word arrogant, you are hating on that person by default. He's arrogant and you're a hater instantly. So now what? And we got to get out of the habit of feeling stepped on when somebody else bigs theyself up. That nigga's not stepping on you unless you think you dirt. If you think you dirt, then cool. Yeah, he is stepping on you because you're dirt. But if you don't think you dirt, nigga, I'm already up where he's stepping to. So how could he step
Exactly.
on me?
And then people
Come
see
on.
competition and they want to act out and do this, and that's not
And
real. Like in the human society, being humans, competition is not real. Like I don't care how you look at it. I will never see myself in competition with nobody because I am an individual. I am not even something that can be duplicated on this earth. My experience is one of a kind. Everybody's experience is one of one. Everybody is great. Everybody is the greatest. Point blank, period. Because you are you.
simple.
You are you. And it's no competition, it's no threat, it's no insecurity, it's none of that like weird shit. And a lot of people be getting on me because I be boasting about myself, but like, what do you expect me to do?
Why
You want me
not?
to
I'm
belittle
alive.
myself?
If you know what I've been through, the fact that I'm alive is enough to brag about for today.
Exactly. You want me to belittle myself like you do yourself just to make you feel comfortable? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Take it how you want
Can't
it.
do it.
If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Because honestly, I don't care to justify you and your insecurities because I'm still gonna do it. I'm still gonna
But
boast about myself.
but we do wish you the best, and we wish you
Exactly.
the most smooth healing process you could
That you
possibly go
find
through.
yourself.
'Cause I don't wish pain on nobody,
Nobody
but you do need to start the process of your healing because I'm sorry, I ain't going outside to make you feel better. I
at all.
can't do it.
Like, kudos to you. Good luck. And that's
Good
it.
luck,
That's all
buddy.
you can do. That's all you can do. But I feel like we talked about a lot of shit, and I don't want to hold you so long because we've been
Definitely.
talking like OD, going on two
That's a
hours.
fact. This was a
Two
great
hours.
conversation.
No cap, but I really appreciate you for coming. Like, I love your perspectives on things, and every time we have a conversation, it's on equal parts, like, a good conversation. And I really value that, and I want to give you your flowers again because you're an amazing person. I want you to know that, and everything that you're
I
doing
appreciate
is
that.
amazing. Keep going, keep doing your thing, keep being you, and thank you for coming on the
Always.
Metacast. And we will always love to have you back.
Of course. I'll definitely be back.
No cap. But y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Be sure to follow him on Instagram at Kilo Can't Lose. I'll have everything linked in the description and a little pop up on the video. So y'all can follow that. Make sure y'all check out his store. And I'll have
I
that linked
mean,
as
Bunny
well.
World or die. It's Bunny World or die forever.
Period. All right, y'all. Bye.
Peace out.